So with Gen V Episode 4 concluding the way that it did, with it quite literally cutting to black at the end of the episode, it left one major question inside of all of our minds. Why did it end like that? Well, first of all, I jumped the gun and didn't wait for the preview that was at the end of the episode. For those that watch the whole credits, you get rewarded. But after going back and watching that preview, I thought I'd give my theories and predictions on what I think could happen next. So let's get into it. Here is Gen V Episode 5 Theories Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The group are losing their memory. One thing that occurred at the end of the most recent episode was that during the ending it cut to black mid-sentence, and then Marie and Jordan woke up in the same bed with nothing on, showing that they spent the night together. This is following on from the romantic spark that they had earlier on in the episode. This posed the question to us, why did it cut mid-sentence? Well, judging by the preview at the end of the most recent episode, it seems as though the group are having parts of their memory that they can't remember, and there are periods of time which are just blacked out and filled with nothing, almost as if they've lost days. This is what is obviously tying into what we saw and why the episode finished the way that it did. So what does this mean? Well, if all of them are experiencing it and have been experiencing it for a while, which it sounded like many of them had, this is something that is most definitely connected to the woods and the fact that it's underneath Godolkin. There were some theories going around that Cate was involved in it and that she could be behind the loss of the memory, and whilst it could be the case, I think it's unlikely. Whilst it's not too crazy of a theory, I think there could actually be a different soup that Dr. Shetty has in on it and is working with in order to black out parts of the soup's memory. Or another theory could tie into the fact that this happened at Cardosa's house. He could be behind the fact that they're getting met with memory loss. Maybe he was able to do something whilst they were fighting with each other, as he wasn't in shot for a long while after the group turned on Sam. So he could have some kind of weapon that knocks them out and causes them to black out. It would make sense as to why the group just woke up asleep in bed, because they could have placed them in the bed too. Or instead, it just causes the individual to black out and act on their inhibitions. Hence why Jordan and Marie were in the same bed. Within the trailer, with Sam also saying that there were some bad people that are at the university, it makes me think that this could have been about staff members, or maybe even Rufus. He could be the person that is working alongside them, as what we saw was very similar to what happened to Marie at the start of the previous episode, blacking out and waking up somewhere else. So he could be working with Dean Shetty and Dr. Cardosa and utilizing his powers which aid in their work. It's a working theory for now, but there's been some focus on Rufus, so it could be the case. Marie will be working on her powers. It's clear to see that Marie is the least experienced out of all of the soups when it comes to understanding and knowing how to use their powers. Andre was raised in an environment where it seemed as though his father wanted him to practice and hone in on his skills so that he could eventually become part of the Seven, and it looks like the same is applied for Jordan. With Cate, it feels like she's learned how to use her powers and abilities herself, just like how Marie has. But with Marie only really utilizing her powers in a way that causes the blood to come out and hit people with impact, like how Spider-Man does with his web shooter. There's a whole other arm to her power of being able to control the blood inside of somebody's body, which she doesn't tend to use. It only ever really happens by accident. We saw this in the first episode with what happened to her parents, but we also saw it in the most recent episode when she made Rufus's you-know-what explode in front of her. She openly stated how she didn't know what actually happened and how she did it, so I think we'll see her try and channel that part of her power and work on how to use it. It's an extreme ability that she's not yet tapped into, and if she does learn how to use it, she'll become one of the most powerful soups that there could possibly be, as she could make anybody explode from a distance and destroy them before they even got close, like how Newman does in The Boys with the head popper. There's a theory going around that Marie could have accidentally caused Luke, Golden Boy, to explode when he was up in the air, as the way that he died was very similar to what happens when she utilizes that part of the power that she's not fully in control of. It's definitely an interesting theory, and I feel as though it would be an interesting twist if that does end up getting revealed, so I guess time will tell with that. But yeah, I think we'll see her honing her ability a bit more, especially with the threat of the guards, Shetty, and the woods. Andre's feelings towards his father. It's clear to see that Andre is drifting further and further away from his father. Personally, I feel with Andre's involvement in wanting to take down the facility and the fact that half of the guards were killed, Dr. Edison Cardosa is going to be able to identify everybody that was at his house, and this may land Andre in deep trouble with his father. With Andre destroying the statue of his father as well, it seems as though there's an ounce of hatred that's present, so I think we may see them get to a point where they don't speak. I think if Andre proves to be too much of a problem for Shetty, then the guards and fort could look to do something to Andre's father, rather than him, as a way of hitting him where it hurts. Something that I think will cause Andre to stop in his tracks, so the division is something that I think is going to be interesting to see develop. The relationships and romance. Right now, all of the main characters in the show have some kind of romantic spark with one another. Emma and Sam, Marie and Jordan, and Cate and Andre. Personally, I don't think that they're all going to last. It would be too perfect for them to. I think Emma and Sam are solid, Marie and Jordan might be solid, but Andre and Cate are the ones that I think may have some kind of issue. We know that Cate is struggling with her powers and she gets weaker and weaker as time goes on, and we know that Andre has a personal connection to the woods due to his father being involved in it. So I think the personal connection and the fact that Cate is going to be getting weaker and weaker and the fact that she's looking like she's a little bit sus at the moment, there could be a divide that ends up being formed between them, just like Andre might have with his father. So the sense of being alone is something that could attack Andre and the emotional ties might get too much. The exposing of the woods. Judging by the preview, it seems as though Dean Shetty is going to be found out to be involved in the woods by Marie and the others in the group, with us also hearing from Sam that there are dangerous, evil individuals that can't be trusted at the school. I think that could be something that's tied into that. He has first-hand experience in seeing everybody that is involved there, so that could be something that helps them with their exposure and knowing who to target to get the answers that they're looking for. There are many different directions that the next episode of the show could go in, but it's clear to see that the memory loss and the fact that everybody's minds were being wiped is going to be at the core of it, as all it will do will add fuel to the fire about what's going on in the woods and the fact that there could be some larger sense of control that's taking place at the university. I can't believe that we're already halfway through the first season after only 2 weeks, but I feel as we edge into the second half of the season it's definitely going to go up a gear. So, there you have it, Gen V Episode 5 Theories Explained. If you want to see more videos such as Endings Explained, theories and predictions and character breakdowns, then click on the I button. Or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. I've also broken down the first 4 episodes of the show, so you'll find them there too. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @BrainPilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What do you think is going to happen next? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.